This episode was brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Over the last 2 decades, Pixar has cemented themselves as the #1 big-budget animation studio. When you hear Pixar, you immediately think quality, and you immediately think of MILFs. Pixar has also become the #1 MILF factory. In any Pixar movie, you're delivered a great message, incredible animation, top-notch voice acting, and hot moms with a big fucking dump truck ass. Hooey! So, today, let's go ahead and tier list Pixar's hottest moms. Let's go ahead and start with the most well-known Pixar MILF, Helen, aka Elastigirl from The Incredibles. I always wondered as a child why my dad was always so eager to watch The Incredibles with me, and now that I'm an adult, I totally see why. Elastigirl is probably the thickest Pixar animated character of all time. Her cheeks mean business. It's like in Nier Automata, with 2B and her ass being like 40 billion polygons. Elastigirl's ass is probably 50 billion. Like, this shit is wacky. And she's a great hero as well, great mother. She's just an all-around wonderful person who just happens to have one of the biggest fucking cake factory asses of all time. So this is just an easy one to just immediately throw this on the tier list here. This is S tier all day. Elastigirl, fantastic. And now it's time to talk about a game that's no stranger to those beautiful ears of yours. I'm talking, of course, about Raid Shadow Legends.
It's a very special day, boys and girls. My precious little Raid Shadow Legends is turning 2 years old this month. I'm inviting you all to celebrate Raid's birthday with me. It's the surprise party event of the decade. If you join up and celebrate with Raid Shadow Legends this month, you'll be getting one hell of a party atmosphere, special events, gifts, and all that sweet, sweet free stuff. Raid truly is one generous 2-year-old, not like those annoying toddlers you may know in real life. And unlike other 2-year-olds you may know, Raid is the #1 RPG in the US with over 1 million players every day, over 2 billion battles, and a massive community of gamers ready to interact with you at your fingertips. I've mentioned it before, but I recommend heading into Raid and finding a Lizardman champion to fulfill your Lizardman desires. I know I've got him now, and it's all thanks to Raid. Take a team of Lizardmen and go battle in arenas and dungeons. Do our faction proud. If you want your Lizardman to grow up nice and strong like Raid Shadow Legends has, I recommend farming the campaign. You can get a ton of XP and loads of silver at the same time. Just a friendly little tip from your pal Jackson. So like I said, get ready to celebrate Raid Shadow Legends' birthday with 6 straight weeks of anniversary events running from March 1st all the way through to the middle of April, all with insane prizes to win. And if that's not enough for you, they're also releasing the first champion in the badass looking Shadowkin faction, which I can't wait to see. The anniversary event marks the perfect time to join the Raid community, so don't wait. If you want to get a head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in the description and you'll get the free epic champion Jotun, 100k silver, 50 gems, and 3 ancient shards so you can summon awesome champions. All this treasure will be waiting for you right here as so demonstrated on the screen right now. Thanks and happy birthday Raid. Here's to at least 2 more years.
So if you're interested in trying Raid for yourself, you can click the link in the description below to get started on your adventure. Now this next one is a little bit of a curveball because they're not technically a mom, I don't think. It's Aunt Cass from Mighty Number 9. Nope, that's not the name of the fucking movie. That's that awful, awful Mega Man Kickstarter that sucked asshole. From Big Hero 6. The reason why I'm making an exception for Aunt Cass here is because she recently became a big boner meme on the internet where there's a picture of her leaning over a counter and she has a lot of cleavage and her titties. There's some aggressive titties. Those are some honkin' milkers for sure. But it's just a meme. That's not exactly how she's presented in the film during that scene. In fact, she's wearing a very non-revealing sweater. So it was an incredible deep fake of the tits. They deep faked a big pair of breasts on Aunt Cass there. Very interesting, and I just thought it'd be good to put her on a tier list. I actually haven't seen the movie. The only reason I even know about the movie is because of the Aunt Cass titties now. So that's really my only exposure to the film and her as a character. I'm just going to go ahead and give her a B tier though, because I think she really once again reignited that Pixar mom fetish. Next up, we have Mrs. Davis from the Toy Story series, and I don't have a whole ton to say about Mrs. Davis because she wasn't like a major character, so you only saw her occasionally. It was like a pretty rare sighting when Andy's mom was around, like a fucking sighting of Sasquatch. But when she was there, I don't think she was the hottest mom in Pixar movies or even close, really. She has like a very stereotypical Karen haircut, the kind of speak to your manager energy surrounding her. And just to be honest, she's just not the hottest mom I've seen. So I'm just going to go ahead and put Mrs. Davis at a D tier. And I also have to say, it feels like the character was originally a child character that they just wumbo-sized to fit a mom character. Kind of like in The Sims, when a child turns into an adult, it still looks exactly like the child, just taller. So I'm just going to have to say Mrs. Davis, not too great. That's going in D tier. Next up, we have Mama Imelda Rivera from Coco. This one's not easy because you never really see her when she was alive. You only see her as Bones, a skeleton. And of course it's Pixar, so even as a skeleton, she's still got a huge dumper on her. I wouldn't be surprised to learn that at Pixar Studios there's like an entire department dedicated to sculpting asses for moms in Pixar movies, because it really looks like a lot of passion and care goes into that. But anyway, Mama Imelda Rivera, I'm going to have to put comfortably at a C tier because, again, you never see really what she looked like alive except for a couple of photos here and there. So just grading it as a skeleton, it's a little underwhelming. I think she looks great though. She kind of looks like a goth girlfriend kind of thing going on. She's got the face paint and everything. It looks good. Like she definitely looks good. It's just hard to overlook the fact that it's all just bones, you know what I mean? So I think C tier makes sense. Queen Eleanor from Brave, not a very popular movie unfortunately, but a pretty good one, and we're going to be looking at Queen Eleanor both as a bear and as a human. We'll go ahead and start with the bear. I'm not a huge furry, so Queen Eleanor bear form, I'm just going to have to put at F tier. Really, I wouldn't want to fuck an animal. So this just doesn't really get very high on the tier list, unfortunately. Now, Queen Eleanor as a human is a different story. Queen Eleanor is one of the few Pixar moms whose ass isn't super visible. She wears like baggy dresses, so she's very covered up for most of the film. In fact, I can't even recall a scene where they had big ass shots like they usually do for Pixar moms. So it's hard to put her on a tier list accurately because we've never seen the full physique of Queen Eleanor. Just going off of general looks and appearance, I'm just going to have to give Queen Eleanor a B tier. Next up we have Jill Anderson, another character that follows the standard Pixar formula of hot mom, big ass. Jill Anderson is from Inside Out, and there is so much Rule 34 porn and shit of Jill Anderson, it's crazy. I'd say it's probably second only to Elastigirl. I can't think of another character that has as much fucking hentai drawn of them as Jill does. So, I mean, and there's a reason for it. I mean, she's good looking, she's cool, she's got that very kawaii look going on. Jill Anderson just strikes me as the kind of mom that would just kick back, snort some Dorito dust off a table, and watch some anime with you. Yeah, I think she's great. Jill Anderson, I'm putting at an S tier. Now we have Laurel Lightfoot from Onward, and Laurel, she gets a little freaky in the film. She's got a little kink to her. There's a scene I recall where she's fucking throwing her ass in a circle, busting that shit wide open, make you want to suck a fart out her butthole. Laurel Lightfoot, she can get kind of dirty, I think. And she's got, like the big ears, she's got, blue, there's a lot to like about it. Very, fantasy style shit, kind of like a bad dragon dildo, but as like an actual mom. It's cool. Laurel Lightfoot I think is cool. There's a lot working in her favor. I'm gonna give Laurel Lightfoot, I'm gonna give her another A tier as well, I think. I'm a fan. This next one I felt was the hardest to put on the tier list. It's The Queen from Bug's Life. Bug's Life is of course a film that's no stranger to big asses because ants are actually half their entire body is just a fucking fat ass. So the Queen was obviously packing some fucking meat there. But, it's just ants. I'm not a huge fan of bugs, and I never really think of bugs in a sexual way. Now, the Queen, she seems like she knows how to have a good time and stuff, and she probably knows her way around a dick or whatever, but I just wasn't really into it. I could respect Pixar, of course, sticking with tradition and making huge asses on the moms here with the Queen, but for me, it just wasn't working, so I'm just going to have to give the Queen a D tier. Here's one I feel like a lot of people overlook when talking about hot Pixar moms. Mama Bernoulli from Cars 2, the mother of Francisco. Mama Bernoulli, I think, often gets overlooked on hot mom rankings and tier lists from Pixar. She is a beautiful looking car. I mean, that is a car that anyone would be happy to climb inside of. And yes, while the biology behind it doesn't make much sense, like how the fuck can a car give birth, right, with like fucking popping it out of the exhaust, I suppose. I mean, you can put fleshlights on the exhaust of cars, so I suppose it can kind of work. Pixar just put vaginas on where the exhaust should be. I don't really get it, but I'm also not a, car birthing enthusiast or whatever. But Mama Bernoulli is canonically a mother, so she definitely counts for the tier list, and I think she is a great looking mother at that. Now, it's not like a car that you're going to try and like put your dick all in and shit, but if you get inside of Mama Bernoulli and, take her for a test drive, you're going to be sailing full mast the whole time. I think she is a beautiful car. I'm putting Mama Bernoulli at a B tier. Next up, we have an interesting one. It's Coral from Finding Nemo. This is Nemo's mother. I've never found anything sexual about fish. Like, I know dolphins and shit, like, rape each other or something, and dolphins, like, get high and fuck for fun or some shit like that. But fish are just not hot. I've never even heard of, like, a fish fetish. Crazy enough. Like, I've never... Even, like, there's a fetish for everything except fish. So I just don't think Coral gets very high on a hot Pixar mom tier list, and it's not like Pixar even tried. Like, they could have put tiny little fucking butt cheeks on her or something to maybe amplify her position on the hot moms tier list, but they didn't. It's just a very standard, anatomically correct fish that happens to be a mother. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to put Coral in the F tier for Pixar moms. Alright, that's really all the Pixar moms I could think of for the tier list today, so yeah, that's about it. See ya.